Tom Fisher here, and I'm pleased to finally be back again. We're doing another winter scene. You know, I thought spring was coming, and it doesn't seem to be that way anymore. The grass was out, and then winter came again. That's happened 3 or 4 times. So we're getting pretty sick of winter. But since it's winter, I'm going to do a winter scene. This is a scene of the back side as looking from a road to a farm scene. And this involves all the buildings and the silo, which is in a unique place. Many farms have grown and shrunk over the years. New buildings were erected, and then old buildings decayed and fell away. But this farm is fairly intact and well kept up. So we're going to be doing that. We're doing this, however, on a 9x16, very unusual size, more of a panorama. This is masonite with an acrylic gesso at around the value 5, or right in the middle between black and white. So it's pretty gray. So picture the idea that this represents maybe a dark, very dark, that's put on and then wiped off until it becomes gray undertone. So that's what we'll have my 10 wall palette out here in a second, and we'll proceed. Thank you for coming. Subscribe and comment. I really appreciate that. I'd really like that to happen. The more comments, the better, because then I know that I'm doing this for somebody, and it's not just a fluke where I'm actually teaching somebody that it's helpful to them. That's always nice to know. I'm going to introduce you to my palette. First of all, my palette, something I designed. It's a box to keep my paints, so I just put the cover on and put it back and put it in the freezer, and then it's all cleaned up. I have to clean this up, of course, but your paint roll is ready. It's really nice. So you just take this off. I'm going to push this in the background there, and let's just look at the paints I have. I have titanium white, Ultramarine Blue, Cerulean Blue. This is a green. You can use it by mixing these two or these two together and get any kind of green that you want. This is a Sap Green, however. Cadmium Yellow, Yellow Ochre, Burnt Umber, Red, Cadmium Red Lt to be specific, Alizarin Crimson, and this is a purple, quinacridine purple, and I put a little bit of that here. I also added a little bit of black. I normally never do, but I have it. And then we have some liquid medium, which is impasto style. I'm going to take a palette knife here, mix up a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit of black, some burnt umber. Because the trees have looks sort of purplish black, and so we'll put together a mixture of that. And just to be sure that we've got a good mixture, I'm going to add just a little bit of white to the side, just to see if I'm okay with it. And I am. All right. Should have a little bit of extra blue in there, so let's do that. All right. So I'm going to put it in some of the liquid and a little bit of this. I've got it on a paper towel here. I'm just looking at the reference, and it's approximately here that I see that. And you don't want the same distance here from here to this end of the canvas as you do on this side. So I'm going to probably put a little bit lower. We've got all these trees here, so I'm just going to brush those in. Remember the rule of thirds, so divided into three. I've got, notice my two nails, I've got 1/3 distance between here. Just to, just as I added remembrance. It's a tool. Use tools. Okay, so we've got this coming down. This also helps you to kind of judge correctly where things are, and you can get a better idea. Now, sometimes you want to change placement of certain things, and that's a good idea then to do that. I'm adding a little bit of black over here, right? A little bit darker. Yeah, a little bit darker over here then too. Okay, down here you see that we do have it's a lighter dark, right? But it does have some dark. I mean, there's a dark in here. It has a little bit of course we've got a little bit of yellow ochre there, right? So let's kind of include some of that. Let's not get carried away with it though. We can put some of this in. Notice it kind of goes up to here. So let's put that in. Ooh, it's getting a little bit dark there. So I'm just going to pull that out a little bit. Okay. Notice up here the sky is a little bit more ultramarine blue. We'll add a little bit of blue. I notice it has some gray on it, so I'll just put a little bit. Yeah. So we'll get a color up there and see how it looks. So we're almost done. No, not really. So let's get the placement. I want that building to be right in here at this third line, and that's right around here. So that means that this will be approximately here. Let's put that in. So just take this off here a little bit. Let's have a big gob of white here. I'm going to throw a little bit of that yellow ochre in there, a little bit of the blue. This blue in here. And we're just going to spread this over here. Okay, and then we've got the shadow here, sort of, and then this is just to locate points and so on. Okay, and then we've got this up here. We've got some buildings up here. Cadmium Red Lt and Ultramarine Blue. A little bit of purple in there. More of the burnt umber, and we're just going to place the red. And we got a little bit of something or other way back here. And we've got this one up front. It's almost parallel, you know. It's also, of course, it's parallel, but it's almost equal in height. And then we've got this one up here that goes from this distance. It goes up here. So we'll put that in. All right. I am almost ready to paint with actually a brush. Okay, so again now, blue and ultra, a little bit of cerulean and yellow ochre in here, and we're just going to put the basement in here real quickly, maybe here. All right, let's begin with the brush now. And since I've kind of got the general gist of location and so on, I'm going to use a smaller brush. It's not that small, but it's what I need right at the moment. So I'm just going to pick up some more white, and where I think there's kind of more of a highlight here, I'm just going to put some in there just to see where those highlights are, so I can get a better idea. small highlight on this here. We've got this building here. We just throw it in there really quickly, and I see that right here we've got a light right in here, and then of course up here along this this hill. It's facing the light, so that's why it's getting some of that. I'm looking at this. I've got a little bit more paint on my brush now. Okay, so I'm going to make a shadow blue, and I'm using a little bit let's see how this looks. All right, this is a shadow blue. I know I used white there, but I'm just going to put this in a little bit. And then we've got this go right here. Notice the trees come up all the way here, so I have to watch that when I'm painting. And let's see some reds right in here. Definitely see some darks, really darks up here. We've actually got dark here, a couple trees. All right, okay, let's I think what I want to do is draw a few of these trees in here now. So I'm just kind of care about the general mass. The sticks I don't care about right at the moment. And then of course we got some of that reddish burnt umber like trees back here, and it goes up here. It's pretty far up. Then we've got this will help define that roof because it's dark against light again, right? And so we just come down here a little bit darker right in here, so a bit of that red dark right in here. this over here. There's a lot of outbuildings here, so we don't have to do them all, but I see a couple I kind of like, so we'll put them in. Here's a little bit of ultramarine, blue back there. That's the grain bins. So we're going to keep those in there, of course. It'll be neat. And I'm going to use a little bit darker darks right here, just to define this edge a little bit. Right? And then, of course, we've got this tree. Okay. Got this tree. Believe me, this tree is not a happy tree. It's winter, and it wants the it wants winter to go and spring to come. So that'll be a great time when that happens. We, to some extent, we don't even believe it's going to happen anymore. Just go a little bit darker here to find that edge, and then we've got these trees here. There's a little bit of green in there, so I'm throwing some green up here. It's about the same value as the real dark here. And so it just adds a little bit of color to the mix. I normally don't wear gloves. I've started out with gloves, so that's probably why. But to tell you the truth, it's kind of nice not being having a mess. Okay. So I'm still using the same brush, and we're going to try to define better So we're going to have to define some of these buildings a little better here. I'm a little off on this, so we're going to correct this a little bit here. So in the shadows, you're going to have to add some things blew up in the shadows. So, you know, you might have to add some blue, and sometimes it, depending upon what you have on your brush, it might turn a little bit to green. So you just alter it. So just be aware of the fact that you can do anything you want to do here, since you're the artist, right? See, by raising this up, it appears like there's There appears like there is a hill there, and that's what you want to say. So here, I'm going to define this building a little bit better by putting this dark in here. Got this, so come in here with a kind of a, not white on here, but I never just use white. I always will add some kind of color to it. That's probably always a good idea. Sometimes you want some of these buildings, you don't want to care too much about some of the details. Details will work themselves out. See, I'm off in this, so I will correct it. Yeah, sort of looking good. On the side of the well, I'm not sure if I had this up close in the close view or not, so pardon me if I didn't. We'll continue on. I'm using a little bit of Alizarin Crimson in the red and purple kind of mix here for the shaded areas of the red. And I'll be doing that up here, as well as over here. And by putting in a shadow on some of the shadow area, you're defining it. You're defining it more. So I'm adding a little burnt umber alizarin crimson in here, just to give some color to background here. It's much darker, which helps define it again. All right, notice that we have a problem here, so let's get some alizarin crimson here, and some. Just kind of beef this up a little bit. Now this is pretty much the shadow color, but I'm okay with putting that in right now because I can add the sun color, sunny side, on top. You can lighten the dark, but you can't darken the light. Remember that. It sounds kind of foolish, but the more you think about it, the better it sounds. Better you can understand that whole concept. You can always lighten this easily. You always are going to try to get the saturation right. You know, if it's a gray color, make it a gray. This is about the right value here for this one. So I'm going to put this in one swoop here. That'll look good. Okay, now this is the basement here, and then, okay, so it looks like we'll just put this in here. Yes, looking good. It's gonna look good. That's great. Okay. There's this batten board on the corner. We just got to snake something like that in. But you don't want to, I don't know, I don't really care too much about those. Sometimes they help to define the edge though. And look, did you see how squiggly I did that? I should have came up from that. Okay, that's okay. And okay, so come up here. Straighten that out a little bit more. Okay, I noticed that I have to gray this a little bit more. Gray the blue, so you use a little bit you know, a yellow mixture of some type, about the same value. So let's see if this is better. Probably a little better. Okay. Now we've got the sky color in there. I'm going to put a little bit of that in. All right, we've got a you can see that the blue shadow color is pretty dark here on this silo. And it's rather dark all the way along on this side. So we'll just darken this for right now, most of it. Okay, that cement, the silo is cement-like, and so what you have like a warm gray on this side of the ladder coming up. So I'm going to put that in. Also, they help straighten that line out a little bit. Okay, so then we got We've got a warm white, grayish, gray, or so on. So we've got that about right here. And got that around here. So let's add just a little bit of like white on it. I did on kind of an up and down stroke because it appears somewhat like the checkerboard pattern that's on these things. On the top and so on. Now look at the proportion I've got here. It's way off, isn't it? You should have it way up here. So let's put it up there. Yeah, that looks probably better. It's higher up than I would normally have it, but it's okay. So I'm going to grab some white and duplicate some of that sky. It has some purple in it, and some blue in it. So there's a little haze of appears to be a little haze here where it's lighter, and okay, I think that just gonna put in a couple of these darks right now too to help define the edges. Let's look over here. We've got actually a darker rendition of this. Dark here, the brownish. This is almost filled in here. I'm not going to put that building in the back here. And then the bluer background because it fades. A little bit bluer because it's these bins are way in the background there. There's two of them. Just briefly put that in, and I'm going to define this tree a little bit more. Put a little bit more purple in this. A little bit more purple. A lot of times when you have snow, the sky can be very dark. Okay, so see this, you don't want to have like this roof line, you don't want to even with the tree line. That's an edge kissing another, and that's what that's called, and you don't want that. So some of the best things to do is to use that, use the dark to define that edge a little bit more. Okay, so here defining the edge a little bit more because of that. And also on the top, and of course these should be parallel, but they should be slanted just a little bit. You want the right perspective, but sometimes you can put the right perspective in a little bit later. Okay, this is still not right. Each one of these buildings have their own, most of them have their own vanishing point, so you have to watch out where that is and then put it in. So we're just putting the got this dark that kind of defines this edge over here. Let's put that in. As well as this dark. Pull it across. And we got this lighter light here. Nice light there. Pull that across here. Notice this line here. Might as well use it to my benefit. Kind of a leading edge. And when you put some of this, I want this paint to be pointing everything, like the brush strokes at times, to point to my area of subject matter. Also, you have to still watch out that your line should follow the form of whatever it is as well. So we're just going to put, notice there's some yellow ochre in this white I have here. I'm going to use a little bit bigger brush here now. I'm taking a big gob, hitting a little bit, taking some of this, the colors I have been using for the painting. It is, you add a little bit of blue in there, so I hit a little bit of cerulean in there, but not much. And we're going to pretty big gob again and throw a little bit of color into it. Let's pull this in here to bring those brush strokes in. These are stroking down this way because that's how they're growing. You see that? I'm allowing some of this to come poking through here. Grab some purples here. Great. Look at that nice, those purples. Don't be afraid to put things in. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. It's your painting, how can you make a mistake? Right? I'm adding just a little bit of Cad Yellow to this. Now this is Yellow Ochre and Cad Light, yes, but I'm going to have to put a little bit of purple in there. I got to tone that down a little bit, or it won't seem right. So I'm going to just kind of insert a little bit of this. It's a little bit higher intensity but I think that's okay. I need a little bit of life into this painting. Must be a large pine tree or something right there. It's casting that shadow, and it's of course going to be a little bit bluer. And I got some Alizarin Crimson here, some other colors. Okay. Let's put this in. Separates this, pulls this out, and frames it. So that's kind of nice. There's this. This is not as long. I'm not showing it as long, but that, I think that looks better. It's too long proportionally, so that's what I'm toning down. A little lighter here, so the lights and darks around here that create interest. So that's what we want to put in. So light against the darks. think that's the shadow of the barn actually. So we're gonna have to put it in more of a bluish. Purple. And then it's actually kind of does this one of these things. So that's kind of cute. It's kind of cool. Yeah. All right. And there's a lot of calligraphy around here, and so I'll just put in some of that. I call it calligraphy. And doesn't have to be exactly. Now this I believe, this is great. This right here. A little bit of red is spilling out into the into the snow area. That's okay, it can't hurt too much. Okay, it appears like a lot of brush, and who knows what all is there. It's let the you want to let the viewer do some of the work. If they think they see something, they know how they think they see that. I mean, they know how it should be because that's what they're thinking they're seeing. So therefore, if you can follow this logic, it will appear perfect to them. So I'm going to hit up a couple. Okay. So I'm going to hit up a couple darks. I don't know. I don't like to care to screw around with the mullions on the windows and so on. I just assume that it's older than that. So this building in the background, we're going to allow it to read, because then this comes out a little bit more. Looks better, right? So I like to add some yeah, let's see. I'll cut into some of these. A little bit. Add a little bit more texture. Don't be afraid of paint. Okay, so here it is. Finished. Thank you very much for watching this demo, and come back again. I really enjoy doing it for you. Subscribe, comment. This way I'll keep on making this. Thank you. Bye now.